Good afternoon, good morning, greetings. Chance Mentally is my name, your host tonight or this afternoon on God, Church and Politics. This is a program where we speak and discuss, talk issues that concerns us, that concerns God, the church, and the politics that's happening around us. Greetings, welcome once again. It's your host, Chance Mentally. Today we want to look again on the nation Malawi and the stuff that's happening in and out of Malawi. For the past month or so, there's been quite drama happening in and out of governmental institutions, the OPC, and everything else happening. Parliament and its members, the honorables, and everybody else. And so we would like to sit down, discuss, chill with my friends, and I'm hoping that we can bring you the best today. Once again, it's Chance. I am your host tonight. Please make sure you share and tell somebody else that we are live to discuss these issues that concern us. Today is most probably, it's been about a month plus before we could come back and really converge. Has it? Yes. Almost like a month when we really talked about the politics of our nation, Malawi. When I said I am Malawian. Surely, if you're watching me and you're not Malawian, blessed to have you here. Most of the times we tackle the stuff that is happening in and around Malawi as a nation. We're privileged and honored to have a president who fears God, and we pride ourselves that we are on the path to recovery. We believe that God has set us up on a journey to building this nation. Truly and surely, we do have the right people now, or the right mechanism to make it a great nation, or do we? And today we'll be discussing some of the systems that we have. Malawi has been rooted in corruption. This has been the feature of almost every other president that comes in. The issue about corruption, deep rooted in its blood, and somehow impossible or difficult to take it out, to rule it out. Some of the questions I'll be asking today: do we have the right systems in place that can root out corruption? Are we ready? Is the game set, match, and play? Or there's still more stuff to be done? We really need to overhaul certain systems. We really need to take out certain individuals. Some people have suggested that the kind of dictatorial leadership is needed if Malawi is to truly come out of its shackles. Somehow the leader ought to exercise certain powers to be able to root out corruption. I don't know whether you agree, or do I agree? But to some extent, I think an African has got an issue. Somehow when you tell them, leave that with just the word, it's difficult. There's need for action to follow. And somehow we've been demanding action from our president, and there's been some changes, there've been some actions that have taken. But still, I think that we are still grappling around, do we have the right systems that would take out corruption of our nation? So remember, once again, we are discussing nation Malawi. It's been a year so far since the people cast their vote. 21st of May, 2019. People almost lost this freedom. We're going to be discussing about this. A year later, we're talking about, it's a different story. God has favored us again. We are a nation that truly has trusted on the ability of God, and its people have trusted in prayer. Its people have trusted in the God who answers prayer. Not only just that, but they acted. There were demonstrations. People were tired of the old regime, the systems that kept on repeating itself. People not having, the government not having people at its heart, serving its own interests rather than the interests of the people. This today is different. It's a different story. It's a brand new day. Or is it? Anyway, I'm joined today by the bishop from Dublin, and that's Bishop Shanks, Junior.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm great. I'm doing fine. I'm growing younger every other day.
I see.
That's for sure.
Some of us are growing old.
No, I don't think so because that some of the postings I've seen, I'm like, Bishop Shanks is looking cool, man. Come on, surely.
Yes, sir. Minister Mahara will be joining us soon. I was just talking to him on the phone.
Um, can you hear me, Bishop?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Bishop, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Right. So I think it's my side. Sorry, for some reason, my Wi-Fi is playing up. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's not going to disturb and cut us off completely. Anyway, welcome. Minister Mahara probably is on his way. I haven't had any apologies from him, and I'm hoping that it's probably just tied up.
I was talking to him right now. He's coming in.
Perfect. So, I mean, it's been quite eventful since we met. You remember last time I think we met over here, we were discussing the audit report, and I think there was a heart cry of saying we need action.
Yes.
This report exposed some real stuff that was still happening under the nose of Dr. Laz, and we all demanded an action. If I was to start from there, would you be satisfied of some of the action that has started taking place so far?
Yes, very satisfied. Very much satisfied with the actions that the president has taken. And one of them was the firing of one of the ministers, who had used COVID money for his own personal, staff and all that. That was good, because it's one thing to say about fighting corruption, but it's another putting action to what you're saying. And what the president did on that day was completely the opposite of what the public was expecting. The public was just expecting another good speech, but that wasn't just a good speech. That was a speech full of action, and we could all see the action there and then. And that's what we want.
Really, that kind of like gives, a lot of us that kind of expectation that we really have wanted to see Dr. Laz do something, isn't it?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So some of us, when we were making noise to say, oh, Dr. Laz just makes good speeches and that's not enough. Some people thought that maybe we're just against him, or because I'm UTM, then I don't want him to succeed. No, it's not about that. But what we voted for, what we cried out for, is exactly what he did on that particular day. And we're expecting more of that to happen, because that's what the public wants. We do not want the same stuff that has been going on for years. All these regimes that have been there, it has been the same song, same story, same results and all that. But we just wanted something different. And the reason why the people turned up, and the reason why we all, even as pastors, cried out for this change. And we were excited to see this pair of Dr. Laz and Dr. SKC, taking over the reins in Malawi. The whole reason why we were excited was to see stuff like this happen. And so, I commend the president for taking action, and showing the whole Malawi that I mean business. I'm not just here, as a pastor, but I'm gonna deal with anything that comes to disturb the vision that we have.
And this is one president that Malawi probably has been privileged to have, where people cry out and he responds, isn't it?
Exactly.
Unlike in the old regime where the cries of the people fell on deaf ears.
Yes, they are living up to their promise. They are living up to their promise to a certain. There are a lot of things to be done, but when something good happens, we've got to talk about it. We don't just have to make noise when something bad happens. When good things are happening, we also have to come in and commend and say the president is doing good. Keep on what you're doing. It's great and it's appreciated. So yes, exactly. I've discovered that indeed he's a president who is open to people's opinions. Whatever goes on Facebook. Actually, in one of his interviews, I think that was with Times, he mentioned that. He said, yeah, when people say stuff on Facebook, I know what they are saying. I have access to that. So it's good that he's keeping in touch with the people. He's not distancing himself from the people. And then he's also able to hear what the people are saying and implement that into his administration. And I know he's a wise man. He's not a fool that he's just going to take everything on board. He knows what to take on board and what not to take on board. Because if you let the people, be in charge of your government, then they will end up messing you up as well. Because some people end up bringing suggestions that are not even good. So you may implement them. They may be good to them, but they may not be good to the majority. So I know he's a wise man. He's an intelligent man. He's able to listen to all this and take wise counsel and use it appropriately. Yeah. So far, so good.
One other aspect that I feel that probably, which probably you and I and everybody who was craving to see some action and change would say that somehow we are being surprised by his style of leadership, because to some extent, to a larger extent, people thought he was a little bit laid back, more like letting it play and a bit slow to act. Don't you think it's, you've just talked about he's a man of wisdom. I actually discussed with somebody else. It says people think that he is laid back and slow to act, but that's where his mantra for wisdom and capacity lies. That all of a sudden you think he's just laid back, but actually he knows what he's doing. So would it be suffice to say that it is important for us to be patient with how his style of leadership is going?
Unfortunately, we are living in a world where patience is not something that people buy into a lot. People just want to see change now, But I also understand that running a government is not as simple as running a house or running a football club. This is government, and more especially a government that is comprised of different parties. And I would also add different leaders, and these are also capable leaders, people that have been in politics for so many years. You're talking of people like Dr. Chilima. He's been the vice president. He has a party. You're talking about, many other people that are within the alliance who are leaders within their own right. And it's not easy to just come up with a decision as one man, because this is not MCP government, so to say. This is a Tonse government, and led by the MCP government, led by the MCP party and the MCP president. So when it comes to decisions, I don't think Dr. Laz can just come up with a decision. He has to consult. He has to talk to this one. He has to talk to that one. And, in a place where 2, 3, 4 heads are, you will not always agree. You will not always agree on one thing. Sometimes it may take a minute to agree on something. Sometimes it may take a month before you even come up to a place of agreement, because you have to make sure that everybody is satisfied. Otherwise, if you leave some people dissatisfied, they are the ones that will even create your own downfall. So at the end of the day, I do understand and appreciate the fact that it's not easy on his part. It was different if it was just like the MCP government in power. That was easy.
Yeah.
Because you would just be dealing with MCP people. But there is UTM there. There is PP there. There's Ford and Mafunde and all these parties within the government. So everyone wants to have a piece of that cake. And at the end of the day, when you're making a decision, it has to be good to all. Of course, there are some decisions that as a leader, you just have to go for it. You just have to go for it. And but it's still hard to so to say based on how the government is composed. Are you hearing me, sir? Hello?
Let me apologize once again to our viewers that my internet Wi-Fi is truly playing up. I apologize for that. If you're seeing us probably jamming and something is wrong on my side. But anyway, the other thing probably that I want. Sorry. So what do you say?
I finished my point.
Bishop.
I know you couldn't hear me. I had already finished my point.
Bishop Shanks, did you say something?
No. I was saying, did you hear me? Because I couldn't hear you. The network was tripping.
Yeah. It looks like the internet thing is completely messing about my show. And Bishop didn't even hear me asking his question. Bishop Shanks, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me?
No, we've got issues. We definitely have issues. Right, Bishop. Hello? If you can hear me.
I can hear you well. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
No, we have issues. So I will have to shut this down. I'll have to end it. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, we've got issues. Definitely got issues. I gotta have to end it and come. Yeah. All right. So let's see.